I thought we were already
Hey, what up, Internet? It's your boy Jay G right here, and over there in the big box, Neal McCready from Rebel Groves, and Gabriel. You may know him as Gabe DeArmond from Power Mizzou. He's actually located in Missouri. I don't know if you guys were able to extrapolate that from the fact that he runs Power Mizzou, but that's where he is. And
I'm impressed that you did not think I was located in Mizzou.
Tonight on the show, we're going to have balsamic vinegar and paprika.
Hey now.
I told Jay this is the last time you get to make the spice cabinet jokes. My fancy background is arriving on Thursday. So.
Fancy.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That's exciting, Gabriel.
I know.
I'm gonna put these. I'm gonna put this on the boards here in just a second. But before I do that, I'm gonna have a little slug of this bourbon right here, big guy.
What are you having tonight?
I'm having. This is gonna be an Elijah Craig. Just a small batch, but it's delicious, man. And I'm having that in the South. Oh, I can't see it. The South Alabama shot glass where my daughter's going to school. So.
There you go.
Go Jags.
This is to GPITS and all the teens of people that will be watching the show.
Wow.
Delicious.
We're up in the teens now. That's awesome.
Oh, love it. What have you got, McGreefy? Are you drinking tequila tonight, right?
I am. I'm drinking. This is the Casamigos Reposado.
Ooh.
This evening.
Oh, interesting.
That's what we're having.
When am I going to be a grown up enough that I would enjoy just drinking tequila straight? Is that ever going to happen for me?
I hope not.
I don't know. That's up to you. I don't know.
I would not recommend that, Gabriel.
No, it seems like a terrible thing that I wouldn't like.
It's technically in this case, it's a lower proof than probably the bourbon that Jay's drinking.
Yeah.
I think this is 94 proof.
Yeah, this is.
I'm like 96% beer if I drink. I don't love the liquor.
This is only 80 proof. It's like drinking water.
Until you get ripped. McCready, I think you were lit up a little bit the other night.
I was. This has been. I don't know about you guys. Today, I've done really well for the first month of this, and today I've kind of been fighting it a little.
I was that way yesterday. Yesterday it kind of sucked.
You were biting it? What the hell does that mean?
I was fighting it, man.
Oh.
I was like a little down today, like a little bit. Just
why?
Just kind of. I don't know. I really don't. It's a great question. I don't know. Just kind of down. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, most of the stuff out there is pretty positive, and it looks like we're going to be okay. But for whatever reason, it was just, I don't know, just got a little. I don't know what the word is. I mean, just kind of got sad a little for a bit of time today. Just like I did a lot of interviews today. I did an interview with Taylor Zarzer. You know Taylor,
of course.
Taylor's terrific, longtime friend of mine. He and I did radio together for years, and I know Taylor knows a lot of people, and you know, when we talked about, hey, when's the football thing going to happen? And you know, he thinks it's a late start, maybe even a winter start, and then you get the people that you know are nothing's going to it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all, or it's not going to happen until late in the spring. And I just get, it's not about football. It's just it's you know, I mean, obviously we worry about football because it's part of our job, and in the same way that if you were in the restaurant business, you want your restaurant to open. I mean, it's not a lot of difference really, but just stuff. It just kind of got me a little down. I'm kind of got a little house crazy a little for the first time in a while.
It's because of what you said like a month ago on here, because nobody knows when it's going to be over. Like, we just want, like, if everybody would just say, hey, on July 1st, you'd be all right. I think we could all mostly do that, but you just don't know. And so yesterday is the same as tomorrow, is the same as today. And, you know, there's good days and bad days.
Yeah.
Let's see on the
For
chat.
everybody.
We've got Avery's in the house. Excuse me. Avery and Georgia Rebel are checking in. Georgia Rebel was on our show the other night.
Hey, Georgia Rebel.
Yeah.
You did a long show the other night, Jay. I watched some of it.
We were coming up on 4 hours.
I know.
About what?
I don't know, man. Every
Just
time
talking?
I start the show, I'm like, I don't know what we're going to talk about, and we always find something to talk about. So.
Okay. Good deal. You could do talk radio for free when it comes back. You you do that every day.
I could. But I don't know, man. I tend to just ramble sometimes. I got stories. I mean, I got stuff I can talk about.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an odd person. I know that. Got some weird likes and dislikes and a weird view on the world. I know that now. I didn't know that when I was 18. Wish I had. Would have helped. But, whatever. You guys are – what's weird is that you guys are both pretty weird, and then you guys are the sane ones in this construct, you know? Like, Gabriel is definitely the most sane of the three of us, and I think Gabe is fairly insane, and then Neal and I are, like, totally insane, I think.
Yeah. Gabe is much more sane than either of us.
Yeah.
Gabe is much more grounded, much more stable, much more normal than either of us. Like, Jay and I both are – in many ways, really loose cannons in different ways, but yeah. I mean, I've never considered either of us particularly stable.
I also have the best hair, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I would not agree with that. I would absolutely say that Jay has the best hair, but you do have the second best hair, so congratulations.
In having some, I am second.
Yeah,
okay.
and having some is better than none, so you're second.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a haircut at some point. That hasn't happened since this started, but
don't you just buzz it or whatever? Like,
yeah, we just haven't got around to.
Let's get a razor.
I mean, we have one. I could do it. I just haven't got around to.
No, I mean a razor.
Oh no, I'm not ready for that type of commitment.
I pull that off.
Yeah, that's why I'm intimidated. Like, I don't want to be the second best looking bald man on this podcast. So
it's a tough fight, Gabriel. Not gonna lie about it. Buddy.
I know.
So you're saying right now you're better looking than me? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm saying there's only one bald man on this podcast. There's one balding man.
Oh, okay.
So if I completely shape my head, I will be the second best looking bald man.
I understand.
I can keep this stuff.
We got some stuff to talk about. I thought we would lead off just with various virus takes. Because a lot of times people don't hear regular people talking about the virus. They hear experts and then politicians, and you were neither. So, I don't know. I had some folks say, hey, we like listening to your virus talk a few days ago. And I was like, no, appreciate you.
Okay.
So we can talk about that.
I am an expert in a lot of areas, not this particular one. But
you're obviously, based on where you're sitting, you're very good at folding clothes and state capitals.
Yeah. Those are just
and cinnamon toast. Yeah.
Extra blankets.
Get him, Neal.
Cinnamon toast.
Get his ass.
Hey, and state capitals. Yeah, look at the map back there.
Yeah, let's think about this though. Like that would be the biggest spice cabinet in the history. Like freaking Emerald doesn't have that many spices.
Oh, I don't know.
Like 6 or 7 feet tall.
He's a Cajun.
I can see Carson City, Nevada from right here.
Can you?
Yeah, there's Santa Fe, New Mexico, right there.
Absolutely.
Just to your right.
Yeah.
It's not a state capital, but I can see Tucumcari, New Mexico, as well. A couple things, just very quickly. My pug's wearing a lampshade on his head because he can't stop licking his balls. It happens. We need to talk about iRacing. I don't get it, but I do get Kyle Lawson, and that dude is in trouble.
iRacing? What the hell is iRacing?
That's the simulated NASCAR / open
wheel
okay. That they've been doing.
So it's like
Well, they broadcast it on Fox like it's legit, dude. Like it's like.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about how they showed a horse on TV?
Yeah.
I didn't see it myself, but I'd be willing to talk about it.
I didn't either. I heard it.
I watched 5 minutes of it. It was not good television.
It seems terrible.
There was a lot of stuff talking before that about how a girl needed to be making sandwiches and washing dishes instead of shooting, and then she won. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Wait, people said that?
Gabe. Yes, people said that.
I know on the internet people say that, but that's not like a real life thing.
I watched a grown-ass man tell my wife, who was the PTA president when I'm telling you this story, tell her that she needed to be baking cookies instead of doing that. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't punch him because I was like, you're in deeper shit with her than you could ever be with me.
She may have punched him, though.
Oh, man, she would have whooped his ass, dude. He was a short little... Yeah. Never mind, Gabe. I didn't mean to be.
Yeah, that's okay.
You ever spend any time like watching Twitter threads and you read a Twitter thread for a while and you're like, man, there's some really bad people in the world?
No.
Yeah. Is it like Twitter and message boards it's like 1952 on the internet. I mean, it's the most terrible place there is. But
Vikings are beating the Packers 14-7 right now. Oh
It's
man,
over.
they just
In what year?
Oh well, I was going to make a joke, and then immediately they just showed Tavares Jackson on the Vikings bench, and the joke there was no more joke anymore. What a tragedy.
Yeah, that's like 2 miles.
What a
from my
loss.
house. 2 miles. From my house.
Just
he's
from
young
Montgomery,
dude,
right?
Yeah, he's 35ish, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So iRacing, don't get it. Bubba Rawless rage quit out of a game the other day, which I thought was pretty funny. It's been nice seeing so many people out in my neighborhood. Everybody's out walking, trying to get some, exercise, and everybody. We don't really talk, but we wave, and I feel like more of a community now. It's nice. I was going to talk about Tavares Jackson, who passed away just a couple miles from where I live. A dude that I covered in high school, a dude who went to Arkansas and Alabama State, and obviously that really sucks. His wife worked at the kindercare my wife runs, and so we knew them personally.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
Stimulus checks. Yeah, I'm somebody that pays the government. They don't pay me typically. And so I have learned now, after talking to a couple of accountant friends, that I'm going to be last in line when it comes time to pay. Did you know?
Oh, have you not applied for a loan or?
No,
I
that's not what he's talking about. Just the check everybody gets.
I'm talking about the stimulus checks, McCready, and this probably applies to you too because you pay them, they don't pay you, so they're not even going to have your bank information, bro, and that means you're not going to get your stimulus check very quickly.
I am told, Jay, that, and I hate to sound this way, but that I make too much to get the stimulus check.
Wow. Big time down there in Oxford.
Oh, damn!
How's that for a humble brag?
Jay, I guess we know where we stand here. We got to get some more people to sign up or start a podcast empire or something.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Take care.
Shit.
Let's see. Georgia Rebel says the video isn't good. I don't know what that means. Sorry. If that's true.
See, Neal's microphone is actually made of 14 karat gold over there.
Yes, that is, Gabriel. Oh, yes.
Okay, anything else? Stimulus checks. Gas is down to $1.39 a gallon where I live. Probably lower.
Are we going to talk about how you guys got like almost blown away last night?
I don't know. It's kind of sad because a lot of people died, dude.
Yeah, no, I know. It was bad stuff down there.
I know you're trying to make a joke out of it.
I gotta tell you.
I'm really not.
I gotta tell you, Saturday night when there was talk about Sunday being so bad, I thought I joked about it, and then I was being serious. I said if because the neighborhood that I live in is kind of a tornado alley for whatever reason. I just said if that happens tomorrow, I'm done. That's the breaking point. I cannot add that to this and continue on.
Okay.
And then you see like those F5s. And they think those are F5s that went through Mississippi and I presume into Alabama yesterday. Those were massive storms. Those are scary as hell.
Yeah, agreed. No doubt. It was a weird Easter. We had no togetherness. Couldn't go to services. I spent like 10 minutes around my mom because I just couldn't. I had to go see her. But it's a very weird Easter. And, the weather was terrible, too, down this way. I don't know about Missouri. It sounds like it's cold. Actually, McCready said it's cold where he is, Gabriel.
Yeah, it's like frost warnings here tonight.
Yeah, wind chill was in the 20s when I woke up this morning. That made me pretty sad.
So it's cold there now?
It's chilly now. Like, it's going to get down to about 32 overnight, I think. So, yeah, it's cold.
Damn. It was like 75, 80 here today.
Yeah, you don't even know what wind chill probably means. You probably never heard that before.
Wind chill was like around 75 today, dude. Oh, man, that Elijah Craig really hits, man. It slaps, as the kids say.
Yeah.
All right, we ready to start this thing, McGreefy?
Let's do a show.
Yeah, I'm putting out the tweet right now, Jay.
Oh, yeah. I feel like my computer's working hard to get this show done, so I don't use the Twitter very much.
No, it's all good.
When I've got three video feeds, it's a little precarious. But it sure is nice to have you guys on the air.
I mean, as long as you're working hard, that means we don't really have to. So that's good.
Did you know 1994 was a great year for angry white man music?
You know, I graduated from high school in 1994. It was a great year.
I had a feeling, Gabriel. Had you seen a girl naked by that point?
Possible. Yeah.
94.
Yeah.
So 2 carry the. I was getting close at that point.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear you hadn't.
No, that was 94 was
Not even a joke. It wasn't going well.
94 was a weird year in my life. We can talk about it. It was a weird year in my life.
I feel like you've said that for like the last 4 shows.
I know it didn't go well for him.
Yeah.
I mean, should we maybe just say the 90s was kind of a weird decade for you?
Well, the early 90s were a weird time. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we get started on a little podcast program here at this point. Let's see. I need to pull up something here, and there it is.
Remember, it's Siemens.
Siemens. That's
It's not Simons.
You're talking. Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Corny from my site, who's on the chat right now, says it's 70 degrees at his house right now. I think I know he's in Nevada. I'm not sure which part of Nevada. Outside of Las Vegas, I think.
Wind chill's probably only 68.
68. Wind chill's about 100. Actually,
ready?
Larry Casher, Neal McCready at Auburn. You remember Larry Casher?
Yeah, I remember Larry.
He once said that he thought the wind chill was about 105 one hot-ass day on the practice field. It's hot as hell out here, man. Wind chill must be about 105. And I think he was serious.
Wind chill.
And he's Mobile's finest.
Yeah, he was.
He was. All right, you ready?
All right, here we go. All right, 3, 2. Welcome into another edition of Greatest Pod in the South, presented by Automation and Control Systems, LLC. I'm Neal McCready, Jay G Tate, Gabe DeArmond with me as well here this evening as we live cast on YouTube. For those of you who are watching and for those of you who are listening, join us sometime on the YouTube. You can get some all sorts of bonus coverage here on GPITS. Automation and Control Systems, LLC is owned and operated by Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. Established in 2013, ACS is a complete electrical control systems solution provider and a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. ACS has a full-time, dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. They can custom tailor software packages, custom design electrical control panel solutions, and much more. It's a full-service AutoCAD services provider and a full-service fiber optic cabling solution provider. If you're in need of custom HMI and SCADA solutions or large horsepower VFD specialist, ACS has you covered. They can service and install Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. For more information or to get in touch with ACS, go to acsllcms.com. Again, acsllcms.com, or call 662-601-4381. I'm coming to you from the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. The next time you are in the market for a vehicle, even if you don't live anywhere near Amory, give them a call, get a quote. At the very least, it's going to help you moving forward. Make sure you kind of protect yourself against some of the bad guys in the car sales business. And at the very most, it's going to intrigue you enough to hop into a Clark Ford like I've done. Like we have 3 of them in our driveway right now. They're great vehicles. Corey wants to be a car guy. He wants to be a truck guy. He'll prove to you what that means when you call the number 662-257-1900. Jay, Gabe, how are you all?
Hey, it's awesome to be on the show with you, Mr. McGreevy, and of course, the Kings of Baldwin, ACS. Yeah, Gabriel.
Indeed.
I feel like I'm not quite as enthusiastic about Jay, but like I'm mildly entertained to be here right now.
That's great. Obviously, you have a map of America behind you, and you're really fired up about state capitals.
I'm gonna point out all the different. I'm gonna put thumbtacks up in all the locations GPITS is recording at right now.
Bismarck in the house, boys and girls.
His house. So Gabe, there's a rumor going around that you're gonna have a proper backdrop next week, right?
That is what I am told via email by some fly-by-night service I ordered a banner from on the internet. So I guess we'll see.
Fly by night, huh?
Yeah. So we'll see. I've had enough. I've been shamed by the laundry room and spice cabinet jokes into investing in a background.
It's big, man. Big step forward for you, Yeah.
I don't even know what's on it. I just did, like, I got the discount one. I just got a wild card background. I said, do whatever you want and send it my way. So,
big steps in your life. You see a girl naked, you get married, you have a baby, you send your baby off to college, and you get a backdrop. I mean, these are the things that happen. It's like a rite of passage.
Word is, if you see a girl naked, it counts as a click for 24/7. So that's, it's good.
Hey, what?
Next step is I will just drink straight tequila. So
I would not recommend that.
Then I'll know I'm fully grown up. Yeah.
I would not recommend that. He's not drinking straight tequila. Don't let him lie to you.
I mean, there's a lime in there.
He puts like seltzer in there or something, don't you, McCready?
No, it's there's a lime and there's an ice cube.
Oh, okay, that sounds great, brother. You're really tough.
Yeah, you know me.
All right, do we just want to get underway or what?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about it.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to start off with virus discussions. Fellers, obviously we're in week, I think, 3 or 4, depending on how you look at it. Although Vice President Pence today said we're halfway through our 30 days, which I don't know if they reset that at some point. I was surprised.
Holy hell. We are at 30 days, aren't we?
I mean, I feel like it depends on when you started, because, like, I measured this by, it was 33 days ago. My kid's swim meet was canceled, and we basically started staying home then. I mean, we didn't do a whole lot after that. So I feel like this has been pretty much close to a month, but it's been 2.5 to 3 weeks that we've just all been going nowhere.
Which sucks. Although we've been drinking a lot, so that's fun, Gabe.
Yeah.
Here's
a bad sign. I called my liquor store today, and it's curbside. You can't go in.
and they're like, no, your order is already on the curb. It just sits there. You just pick it up.
So I called and I told her, I said who I was. And she goes, oh, hey, Neal. And I'm like, that's not good. And then the next thing was, she goes, I said, so I wanted to get different things. And I'm basically guiding her through the store. I'm like, it's the one right next to that one.
Oh, my goodness.
She's like, I know it would be so much easier if you could come into the store. And I'm like, no, I basically have the store memorized. It's good. I know exactly which bottles I'm looking for.
You're like the person that doesn't give directions by street names, but you're just like, go to the Captain Morgan and turn left.
Yeah. Yeah, the moon buzz, it's the one to the right of that.
All right. Now I was looking earlier. I don't like the bottle in the front, but maybe get me the third bottle from the front. I liked that one.
Yeah, and I was like, so I'm looking for a Reposado, and I asked for a specific one, and she's like, well, we're out of that one. I said, just get me the next one close to it. I don't care. It doesn't matter anymore. It's all therapy at this point.
You know what? Frankly, just grab a bottle. The closest bottle to you, grab that, put it in a paper bag. I'll just pick it up.
Yeah.
If you could take the lid off right before I get there, that'd be great.
She's like, your total is $717. I'm like, no.
We're fine. I get a discount, don't I?
It's fine. Just whatever.
Neil's like, I got to spend some money so I qualify for that stimulus check, man. Give me that $750 liquor order.
Hey, me and McGreefy, I know we've been drinking more than we had before. Gabriel, do you think your alcohol intake is taking a step forward?
It's up a little bit, but not much. We still drink at home a lot, honestly.
Well, then what in the hell do you do all day?
I work hard. I get a lot of stuff done. No, I don't. I mean, I'm not drinking every day or anything.
Okay.
So is it bad that on like a random?
I have a couple beers here and there.
Is it bad on a random Wednesday at 12:15? I'm like, I'll have a beer with lunch.
No, it's not bad at all. I think that's great.
Because you do it.
Yeah. Because I'm just, I don't know, man. I told you guys earlier, I'm fine, but like, it's starting to get to me a little bit. I've been perfectly fine with it, My kids have been great. I've been really impressed. I had my 2 daughters and Campbell's roommate at Arkansas on one of my podcasts
I saw that
on Friday, and I was really impressed with all 3 of them. I really was. I mean, I thought, I don't think when I was that age I would be this mature. I don't think I'd be able to handle this as well as they're handling it. Is it mature?
I think so, yeah. But you
Okay.
do weird pronunciation.
I would go mature, but
Okay, whatever. Mature, whatever. I don't give a shit. And I don't think I'd be able to handle it as well as they have. I've really been impressed. I mean, they've obeyed all the social distancing crap, and their friends come and see them, and yet they keep a distance, and one of them stays in the car, and all of that stuff. And I don't know, man. Sometimes it just kind of gets to me a little bit. I know, because I was thinking about the other day. I was thinking about how, like, my income's probably down. I don't know, from advertising and stuff. It's probably down about $2,000 a month right now. And I've lost sleep over it. I'm not gonna lie. I wake up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m, and I can't go back to sleep. I lay there and I kind of toss and turn, and I think, do I want to just get up and whatever? But there's nothing to do when you get up except other than look at your phone. And so I forced myself to try to go back to sleep, and I'm not sure I ever really do. And then I start thinking about how there are other people out there, so many other people out there who have it so much worse than I do. And it kind of hurt for them. I mean, because I think what that must be like, how uncertain that must be. People that have gone from having a comfortable living to having no job, to filing for unemployment, to hoping for a stimulus check to show up in the mail, and hoping that the economy goes, that we, quote, reopen quickly. And then we have these conversations on my message board. I'm sure you guys have it on your message boards as well. It's just incessant about, should we reopen, and what does that look like? And then you hope that when the country reopens that maybe people are smart, but they won't be. That we're going to go right back to the churches being packed, and funerals being packed, and the bars being packed, and people just aren't going to do it. And so what happens, my concern, like on the virus thing, is what happens when the inevitable second spike happens? Do we freak out and shut it down again? Or do we figure out a way to sort of ride through it? And I don't know the answer to that. And then we were talking in the pre-show, you talk to different people in the sports world about, what does it look like? And my fear with college football is twofold. One is that I don't believe college football is going to go first. I don't think there's any chance at all that college football is the first to open up. And 2, the more people I talk to, the more I just don't believe that college football can play in empty stadiums. I don't think it happens. I know people talk about, well, the SEC contract this and the Big 12 contract this. What about the MAC? What about Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan? What incentive is there for either of them to play in front of an empty stadium? They don't have an SEC contract. They don't have a Big 10 contract. I mean, if they don't have a gate, there's no reason to play the game.
Empty stadiums that's a non-starter to me. I don't think they can do this with empty stadiums, because so much of the money these places get is from football attendance. Now, they get a lot of money from SEC Network and TV and all that, but so much of the money that funds everything they do is from people showing up at football games. I don't think they can do it without it. And I think and I'm starting to hear some talk of this, but this isn't just about college football. This is about college athletics as a whole. I was talking to my wife the other day, like some of these schools my son is looking at, I don't know in 2 years if they're going to have swimming programs at these schools, because I don't know if they can afford it, because they cost money, even places that don't give scholarships for that. I mean, D3 schools, schools like that, you got to pay for a coach. You got to pay for travel. You got to pay for these training trips. You got to rent the facilities. And that's all money these places aren't going to have without football happening with fans in the stands on television.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, man. You guys make some persuasive arguments, but my thought always was that they would start a little bit late. They would play in empty stadiums, and I just thought that's what was going to go down. I mean, it's the best way to fulfill the television contracts.
Well, and this is not meant as a slap at you at all. It's really not. It's going to come across as one, and I don't mean for it to. You cover one of the top 15 programs in the country.
Yeah, so
you cover a program. That. So the truth is that you cover a program that is an outlier. Okay. You cover one of the, I don't know. I mean, Gabe, help me with the number here. 15 programs that could survive a terrible year, and sort of kind of stay afloat a little bit. Even Auburn would really struggle.
If Auburn played football with no fans in the stands, could they get by without cutting anything else?
No,
I'm not sure they can.
No, they'd absolutely have to cut stuff. Yeah. But here's my thing: is for Auburn to play a full season, everybody else has to play unless. And here's the question, and this might be where this leads to. In the event that we get to this point, is this the breaking point where the Power Five pulls away from everybody else and says, okay, we're going to have to operate differently? Is this the year where Auburn, instead of who's Auburn's non-league games this year, Jay?
I know North Carolina, and I don't really care about the other ones.
Okay, well, that's the point. So instead of the other ones, the other three, instead of playing, I'm just going to make up teams for a minute, okay? Instead of playing the Citadel and North Texas and ULM, right? Auburn has to play Minnesota and Wisconsin and I don't know, UCLA. Syracuse, UCLA, whatever. Because the Power Five have to break off and go, hey, we have the resources from a TV standpoint to play a TV schedule with no fans in the stands. Eastern Michigan and ULM and Missouri State and Troy can't do that. And so, frankly, you know what? They're effed. Screw them. And if that's what happens, then here's the reality: is like what Gabe is saying. So many of those programs, like ULM, I have a master's degree at ULM. If they can't play a football season and get a gate, and more specifically, if they can't play a football season where they go play at Missouri and at Auburn and at Wisconsin and at Ohio State, and they take their 4 L's, but all 4 of those L's, they get what, $1 million a game?
Yeah.
So that $4 million pays for their...
It pays the entire year.
It pays for their softball program. It pays for their women's tennis program, right? If you don't have that money, you kill it all.
But why do you think that we're not going to be able to play? I don't understand, dude. Everything's getting better. I know it's April, but
I do think we're going to be able to play. I've said this for 2 weeks now, and I believe I'm right.
But they're not going to play on time.
I think that they're going to report in late July, early August, and I think they're going to start about 3 weeks late.
And then, if that's the case, all this talk is for nothing.
It's a total win.
Now, let me ask you guys this though. So you're talking about TV. So there is going to be a Saturday, there's now going to be a Saturday in the fall where the SEC is playing a football game that's supposed to be on CBS, and the Masters is playing that's supposed to be on CBS, and it might be a week where there is an NFL game that is on Saturday that theoretically could be on CBS, or there's certainly going to be a Sunday where the Masters and the NFL are both these television decisions are going to be, I mean, the NFL is going to win them all, right? If there's a Saturday game that's supposed to be on Fox and there's a college football game, the NFL is going to win, and that's going to be on all the TVs.
Yeah, the NFL is going to win, but here's the thing, man. If
you have to compromise.
If sports start back in mid to late July, think about this. Think how much we miss sports today. It's mid-April. Right. We got the rest of April, all of May, all of June, and most of July. Are we really going to give a damn who gets top billing?
No, I don't care. I'm just interested to see what they'll do because much of the money is from TV.
Yeah, I just think people will be so sports starved that they'll turn on whether it's Auburn, North Carolina, Vikings, Patriots, or the Masters, whatever. I think everybody's going to watch everything.
Okay, but here's the thing that could come out of this. So we all get the what channel's the game on, right? All the time. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can see every game if you have some sense and an internet connection. You can find every game. Well, for a lot of people, if the game's not on ESPN or one of their 3 channels, they don't really know what the hell to do. So now let's say we're on a Saturday where normally Auburn and North Carolina is going to be on TV, right? Well, now there's on one of the main channels. Well, now you've got NFL, you've got golf, you've got NASCAR, you've got all this stuff going on. So Auburn and North Carolina gets pushed to like SEC Network Plus or something, just because it just happened that way. And so now you're gonna have college football fans out there going, I can't watch my game. This is bullshit. And it doesn't matter. It's just interesting.
Yeah, you're right to a degree. I just think people are going to be so happy. I think this is going to be the 1 year off year where everyone's going to be so happy that we actually have it, that there's going to be like, normally writers.
You were going to say there's going to be very little bitching. Yeah. Come on, Neal.
Well, writers bitch about 8:15 kicks. Fans bitch about 11 a.m. kicks. This is going to be the 1 year that no one's going to bitch.
I can't wait to see the 4th straight week Ole Miss starts at 8:15 and McCready's not on Twitter bitching about it.
More like 11.
Dude, I'm just telling you, I won't. I will be so thankful that there's a season, because a season means that my kids go back to school. A season means that Caroline goes to her senior year. I mean, because the people that I feel for, like, and I don't mean this to like kiss Jay's butt necessarily, but like Maddie.
Oh yeah.
Maddie's senior year of soccer, it's gone. Your son's senior year of swimming, it's gone. But you know what I mean. I mean, I hate that. I mean, that sucks. And I mean, people make jokes about prom, and I always joke about prom because I never went to the prom. But like, if you're a senior, this is your prom, and you don't get to go, and all that stuff. There's certain rites of passage, like the graduation ceremony. You don't get to have a graduation ceremony. That stuff sucks. I mean, that's the stuff that to me is kind of depressing a little bit. Just some of the stuff that, I don't know, and like the thought of there not being a college season means that there's not a high school season.
When you said you didn't go to prom, I could see me and Jay both start giggling. We're both trying to jump in with our joke, but I'm going to let Jay go first.
No, hell no. I'm not going to kick him down while he's down anymore, Gabriel.
I mean, I've said this. I was too ugly to get a date. There you go. You're welcome.
No, I was just picturing Neal having when everybody can go places. He's having a party for Oxford prom at his house. It was him and all the kids that didn't get to go to prom this year.
Yeah, that's I invite the 10 boys from Oxford High School who can't get a date.
But this year it's going to be everybody. Like nobody got to go to prom, so you can just have a hey, I didn't get to go to prom party at your house.
This year the police have to come break it up because we're breaking all the social distancing laws.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you out, bro. I'm calling Oxford PD.
You and Dak Prescott.
Womp womp. Yeah, somebody on my board the other day was like, it really sucks. Like what you were saying, McCready, really sucks for the seniors. Hey, JG, why don't you help your daughter? And why don't you have like a makeshift prom for your daughter? I was like, what is a makeshift prom? Like, lay out these parameters for me. Like, I don't even know what does that even mean?
Well, it means that you have to make sure that Courtney films it, and you have to get her all dressed up, and you get dressed up, and you bring her down, and you have her prom dance.
Who, me and Courtney?
You and Courtney dance and put it on Twitter, and everybody can go, oh, how sweet.
No, you and Maddie. Like, you don't need to dance with your wife.
Don't dance with your wife. Just dance with Maddie. I'm sorry.
But if it's prom, everybody at prom's trying to hook it up, and I don't want to hook up with my daughter, so I'll be hooking up with my wife, and I don't think my daughter wants to see that, bro.
Well, why don't you dance with Maddie?
It's a wedding.
Don't try to hook up.
I just want it on the record that it was just said on this podcast. I don't want to hook up with my daughter.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it was prom thing.
And then when Maddie leaves and goes to her room, then maybe you can try to hook up with Courtney. I mean, I don't want to make this too complicated, Jay, but there's a way around it.
It was just trying to be a nice thing to do till it
Yeah,
went off on that little weird tangent.
At no point in the preamble to this discussion did I think that you and your daughter would try to hook up.
No.
That never crossed my mind. But okay,
Are we almost done with this? I
Yeah,
feel like it's going to get worse.
you do live
Moving
in
on.
Alabama, so
Moving
crazy
on.
stuff.
That's funny, Neal, coming from you. Come on, bro. You're with me down here, man. You're in Mississippi. When that weather was coming through yesterday, I was like, those are my people too, even though I live in Alabama.
I know. I was worried about you last night.
Oh, you weren't worried about.
I was. I sent you text to prove it.
I was worried about the people in Prentice and the people in Kosciuszko.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
I didn't know how to pronounce it either.
Are you
I thought
serious?
I did.
I liked that you acted like you did, though.
Well, I thought that I did, but I was quickly corrected on Twitter.
What is the correct pronunciation?
It's like cozy. I don't know. Cozy something. I don't know.
I must have gotten close because I didn't get shat upon on Twitter very much. So, yeah.
Man, that was crazy, right? Two potentially F5 tornadoes, right, one after the other. That's nuts.
Yeah, we didn't get any tornadoes here. We got a lot of gnarly winds, knocked down some big ass trees. That narrowly avoided trouble there.
You sent Gabe and I a picture from your front yard. That tree barely missed your house.
Yeah, it's close, but I mean, close. Doesn't really matter. It's ones and zeros, McCready. I'm here. I'm happy. It's a sunny day in beautiful Montgomery, Alabama. Listen, we got other things to talk about here.
Okay.
This is just changing directions. I don't know. Jump in if you guys are interested. My pug is wearing a lampshade on his head because he won't stop licking his sack. Next topic. No, I'm just kidding. If you guys want to talk about that. No?
Nah, not all that interested.
I mean, Gabe.
I feel
Gabe
like you covered it here.
Gabe has a cone, but I don't want to talk about it.
Get him, Neal.
Cone of shame.
You called it a thimble before. I don't know why you're calling it a cone now, bro.
It's true. It's a thimble.
Nah, we got my dog, whatever, deballed. And, so they had to put a lampshade on his head. He looks he's a pug, so he's not like the coolest looking dog ever. And then now that he has a lampshade on his head, he looks really, really funny. But
Bob Barker would be proud, though.
He wants it on, though. We took it off to kind of give him a break because I feel so bad looking at him like that. Like, bro, man, you look like a total idiot. So we took it off, and he like insisted on putting it back on.
How did he insist on putting it back?
He was trying to put it back on his head.
Thumbs?
Well, yeah.
I want video of this. Take it off him tonight.
Yeah, what did he do to make you believe that he wanted it back on?
He started chewing on his. It's connected to his collar, which we had taken off. So he starts chewing on his collar, and he tries to push his head through the collar into the lampshade. Like, I'm serious about this. So anyway,
so your dog needs therapy.
Maybe he does. He seems a little weird. He does seem weird.
Is he upset about being sterilized for life?
We talked about it, and he said, "But Mommy had my balls cut off," and I was like, "Buddy, I gave mine up like 25 years ago. So I mean, I'm in the boat with you, and it's gonna be fine. Every day it gets better, bro."
But you still have yours. They just snipped a little deal. They didn't do what they did to him, which is completely different deal.
Put them in a plastic bag.
I mean, my wife basically annexed them, and you know how it goes. That's how it goes when you stay married, brother. I mean, there's things you got to do. Just saying.
Yeah.
Gabriel knows.
Yeah.
I mean, look where he is. You know.
he's in a spice cabinet with the capitals behind him, of course. Yeah.
Some other things in this dearth of quality sports content out there. We have been forced as sports enthusiasts, all three of us, to watch some things that are now considered sports, which would include iRacing. This is the virtual NASCAR racing they've been doing that they actually telecast on Fox, and they do commentary for it and everything like that. And I'm not really into it, man. I kind of like NASCAR in real life, but this simulated stuff, it's not doing it for me.
I only found out like a year ago that like Twitch was a thing, that people actually watch other people play video games, and that's a thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I had no idea people liked it. Like, why would I want to watch somebody else play a video game? That seems like the worst idea ever.
That's like, I do that every single day. I spend a portion of every day of my life doing that.
Really?
Why?
Because I enjoy it.
But what's the appeal? That's crazy to me.
Well, I mean, they're playing games that I play, which in my case would be Warzone and FIFA. and then I can see what they're doing. They're opening packs. They're having fun. They're experiencing trouble with the game that I do, and they're having a hissy fit about it, which I do.
Are you like picking up strategy, or is it like a bonding thing? Or
It's almost kind of like you end up kind of being friends with them. I'm not friends with them, but you feel that way. I mean, you're seeing them every day, and they have their same, hang-ups and problems, and I don't know. It's just fun for me. I don't know. I enjoy it.
Well, to me, putting iRacing on Fox is no different than that. It's just a different game.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think that's fair, but unlike the shows that I watch, which are on YouTube or Twitch, this is on Fox National. I mean, I can't believe they actually do that. But they're like, whatever. Georgia Rebel in the chat says that he watched NBA players play 2K the other night. They had a whole tournament on ESPN.
Yeah, they had a whole tournament. Devin Booker won it, according to my son Carson.
How about that? Yeah, I thought Patrick Beverley won.
It actually wasn't as bad as you would think. Now, last night they had a horse competition.
Oh, yes.
And that was hard to watch. Like Trae Young was shooting outside. Chauncey Billups was shooting outside. It was hard to get into. I couldn't make it through more than about 5 or 6 minutes. When
they said they were going to do that, it just reminded me of the commercial, and I think it was like early '90s with Bird and Magic. Off the roof across the bleachers, whatever. That would be cool if they did that.
I wish I had seen it, but I know the girl won. I know Allie Quigley won, right?
I don't know.
Guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think she won, and I think it got some people really upset on the Twitters.
I know that Chauncey Billups came back from being down HOR to nothing and beat Trae Young.
That's pretty big right there.
The only thing I saw about it was that the scoreboard was actually, letters, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah,
I need to watch that. Before we get off iRacing, there's a couple things I wanted to mention on the race, not this past weekend, but the one before that. Bubba Wallace, who is an actual NASCAR racer, got into it with Clint Boyer and just rage quit the game, which made me laugh because that's like so real life, And he just quit the game like right in the middle of the race. He's like, I'm out, I'm done, and he just turned it off. And his car disappeared. It was just like, word, what are you doing, bro? Also, Kyle Larson dropped a racial pejorative on the race the other day. And now he's gotten suspended. My wife gets the biggest kick out of this, that the dude got suspended when they're not even racing. He's playing a video game and spouting that stuff. I mean, not a good look.
Yeah, first thing they taught me in TV school back then was anytime you have a microphone, don't say anything, because just assume it's always going out everywhere. And that was a bad sound check there. Not the way you want to go.
No, he doesn't have much of a defense on that one. And
no.
I mean, I'm not an expert on these things, but it really rolled off his tongue very easily and normally. I don't know.
Yeah, what a total disaster.
They were like, dude, the mic's on. Everybody heard that. I was like, oh, okay. Dang, that sucks. Dude, just don't. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you about him.
Just don't.
Yeah, maybe just don't say that word.
That just can't be a part of your vocabulary. It just can't be there.
Not to take this into a downward turn a little bit, but Tavares Jackson passed away late last night here in Montgomery, where I'm from. Tavares Jackson played in the NFL for the Seahawks and the Vikings. I think he played for the Bills a little bit as well. A great story. He started off at Arkansas, transferred to Alabama State here in Montgomery, a team in the SWAC. Played really well. Actually got to compete in Auburn's Pro Day in 2006. And that helped him get some scouting notice. He already had some, but he got more. Ends up being a second-round pick and ended up having a long NFL career. A kid that was really kind of left for dead, I thought, a lot in college. He was a great story about a kid that just kind of dug in deep and really made something of himself, even though there was a lot of resistance to do that. And it sucks that he is gone. One of the great football players ever in Montgomery history, in my opinion. Not the greatest, but one step down from that. And a tremendous loss to people here in Montgomery and to folks who just kind of followed his story. I mean, he overcame a lot of obstacles to get to where he did. And, yeah, it's just very, very sobering, man. Like, we need more
it
of
was
that.
terrible, terrible news. Just this year sucks.
he was out driving. I mean, it's about 2 miles from where I live. I'm so familiar with the road and right where it happened. And I wonder if it was just he was out there at a time when it was raining really hard. And I just wonder if that got into it, or it's on a little bit of a curve there.
Is it like a dangerous spot? Have things happened there before? Or?
No, I don't think of it as particularly dangerous, but it's one of those deals where you need to be on the road because there's trees right along the side of the road. And he slid off the road right on a curve and hit a big tree. And my thought, and I'm not an investigator, and the cops are going to know a lot more about it than I will, but I bet he was on his phone or something. Just look down, look up. There you go. I mean, it just happens that fast.
It feels like it's a common thing every year for people to be like, fuck this year. This is the worst year ever. But I think this is a pretty runaway winner so far for years that I know about.
Yeah, literally, as we're having this conversation, I'd flip the channel to NBA TV, and they're showing Kobe Bryant's final game. Where he went for 60 or whatever against the Jazz. And
does that not seem like it was like 8 months ago?
I know
that he died, not
the the helicopter crash where Kobe Bryant died feels like it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that Kobe Bryant.
And it was what, maybe 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was the end of January, right?
End of January, yeah. So,
Okay, so
2 months, yeah.
Has anything good happened? Georgia Rebel was asking that in the chat.
No,
like there's nothing. There's no good to balance out all that. Although, like
even today,
there's a lot of people doing good stuff out there. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the healthcare workers. I've seen a lot of like coaches. I saw today a whole bunch of the like big time talent at ESPN is giving up some of their salary and stuff like that. Now I'm not sure that's going to donate. That may be helping keep them on the air. But like, there's good stuff going on.
Well, even today, Karl Anthony Towns, the Minnesota Timberwolves player, his mother died from coronavirus, and you go back and people were showing all the videos about how close they were and stuff. It's just been a shitty year so far.
What really sucks about Jackie Towns is that she was very cool with reporters that covered Kentucky and with the Timberwolves. She was a mom who was very involved, but not in a creepy way, just in a fun way, and was accessible and always had funny stories to tell about her son. And had pictures when you needed pictures, and she was just the best kind of athlete mom you could ever imagine.
Yeah,
guy that worked for me a couple years ago actually went to high school with Karl Anthony Towns. We always used to give him shit because he would tell us in every conversation, anytime you talked to him for more than 20 minutes, Karl Anthony Towns' name was coming up. We always used to give him crap that he'd gone too long without bringing that up. But I'm sure he's that was terrible news today.
Yeah, it's just been a rough year. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's been a rough year, and I don't know. It's been depressing. It's been depressing.
Right. I feel like normally, like we have more fun, and we're supposed to like get people's minds off this, but it's kind of been a bad week, man. You said you had a bad day today. I kind of fell down all weekend, and
I had a bad day today. I'll be the first to admit it. It was like I don't know what it was over the course of the weekend. I just had some time to think about stuff, and like I told you, I did that podcast with my daughters and Campbell's roommate Parker, and it kind of got to me a little bit because I was just so impressed by them. And then on Saturday we did a lot of yard work and stuff like that. And on Sunday, last night, I didn't sleep well. I woke up middle of the night. I couldn't get my thoughts to slow down at all. You ever had that happen? Where you just can't stop thinking, and finally the alarm. She had to go back to work this week, and so her alarm went off, and I remember thinking when the alarm went off, did I go to sleep or not? Because I wasn't sure, and I think I laid there for 3 hours, and which is the worst. I mean, it's the absolute worst. You should get up and watch a stupid TV show or something.
That's what I do. Yeah,
and it was dumb. It was my fault, and I did a couple Peloton rides, and I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, all jokes aside, like Jay busts my balls about this, and I get it, and I understand, and it makes me laugh. But like Peloton's been different, guys. Like you can tell people are profoundly impacted by this stuff. Like all the jokes about the high fives and stuff. No, seriously, for a minute. Seriously, for just 1 minute. I never do it, and I never get them. And here in the last 2 weeks, all sorts of people are sending you like the high five thing, and they're following you, and you're high fiving back. And what it is it's telling you, all jokes aside, how much people miss community. how much people miss kind of stuff, and they're replacing it with things. And so with Peloton, there's no live rides anymore. They've shut down their studios in New York. They've shut down their studios in London. And so the last handful of rides that they recorded were in empty studios. So it's like we're talking about empty games. There's nobody in the studio other than the instructor and the person that's filming it. And the instructors are talking about COVID and what we're going through and all that stuff. And it's just kind of emotional. I mean, you crave normalcy. I do.
Yeah.
I crave normalcy.
Well,
I mean,
I said, I wrote something this morning. I said, my life was like pretty boring before this all started. Like I didn't do a lot, but I miss the kind of boring I used to have. I miss being able to go to my gym. I miss being able to go to the coffee shop to do work if I want to go there and work for a couple hours. I miss the routine.
Well, I get a reminder every day. Like today, I got a reminder that the Cubs were playing in Baltimore tonight. And I'm like, yeah, but they're not playing in Baltimore.
I think so.
I don't think it's going to happen. And so every single day, I need to turn that shit off because every day.
That's interesting. You still get them. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I still get them because it's been programmed into the phone. And I think, like, all jokes aside, that was like part of my routine, part of the rhythms of like your life. You know what I mean? I mean, like I thought about like what this week would have been like for me. This week would have been a really busy week. Ole Miss would have played its spring game. Like I'm sure Auburn's probably spring game was this weekend. I don't know.
Yeah.
This weekend. This weekend, so we would have had football official visits. There would have been a home baseball series that I thankfully would not have had to cover, but Chase would have. And there would have been baseball, and there would have been football series. I mean, a football game and football visits, and there would have been basketball visits. There would have been a lot to get to. And truthfully, I mean, my site, much like yours, Gabe, because of a new coach, and yours, Jay, because you cover an elite program, had momentum. And there's no momentum. And so now you're just trying to like I do 10 weekend thoughts I know, Gabe, you do too.
Yeah.
I do it every Sunday. And like this Sunday, I woke up and I had bad writer's block where like I can't think of anything. I mean, it was just like, just start writing and we'll figure it out. And it was embarrassingly bad. I mean, what I wrote was awful. And I mean, I was embarrassed of it, but I had nothing to replace it with. And
my ninth thought was just like I literally started typing. I don't have a ninth thought, but 10 thoughts sounds better than 9 thoughts. And but then I remembered the Last Dance is coming out next week before I'll do this again. And so that was my ninth thought is I'm really excited about this. And I just linked the trailer. That was the entire thing. It was as much as I could come up with, but
One of my thoughts was because I never had breakfast, and one of my thoughts was I had breakfast on Sunday, and I had a bagel, and I had some turkey sausage, and I put some cheese on it, and I like jalapenos, and I put the jalapenos on it, and put it in the toaster, and I enjoyed my breakfast. But the point was I forgot that I'd had breakfast, and when I went to put my contacts in, I still had jalapeno stuff on my fingers, and it burned like a mother. And so my whole thought was, hey, pro tip, make sure if you're going to have jalapenos in the morning, put your contacts in first. And that was one of my thoughts.
This is what the people pay for.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is why I'm going to be filing for unemployment in a couple of weeks. I mean,
yeah,
good times.
I mean, that's all. Like I've run out of things to talk about and think about. I sat and watched like 14 hours of golf that was like years old.
I saw you tweeting about that, yeah.
Yeah, you and lots of people were watching the old Masters and stuff, and I'm not a golf guy, so that didn't hit me, but I get it.
Yeah, I don't get the Tiger thing, but that's cool. I mean, I know you and some other John Tallman, our network superstar runner dude, CEO. He loves.
I think that's actually his title, Network Superstar Runner.
He loves him some Tiger now. A lot of people do. I just don't really get it. I mean, he had the hottest wife, dude.
I just love golf.
Why did he?
He went. It's almost two different. Like people love him now, that never used to even like him because it's the story, man. It's the comeback. Like him or not, I think he's a good dude or not. To win one 11 years after the last time he won one, that's something.
Yeah, word. I got you, man.
Speaking of people that pay us for now, this podcast is brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi. They represent clients in more than 20 states. They've got advisors in multiple states as well. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fee. We're also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in lovely Memphis, Tennessee. At some point, this will end, and you will want to get the hell away from your house, from your hometown, maybe from your family. I don't know, whatever. You're going to want to get away. And when you do, I suggest that you book a trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories. And to do that, get in touch with John. You give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you some options. And you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. So, Jay, this is episode number 94.
It is indeed.
Which means we take a look back at the year 1994.
Yes, sir.
To see what was going on in pop culture and in our worlds in 1994.
Let me guess, you weren't closing. I think Gabe's heard this story over and over again. He's like 91, tough year.
this was part of Neal's lost decade.
Every show is like 91, tough year. 92, tough year. 93, tough year. And then before the show,
in 27 weeks we're gonna be doing this. Neal's like, it ain't 2021 yet, but that's gonna be a tough year, man.
You didn't do so well in 94, McCready.
Things started looking up in 94. I got a little momentum. I got out of Monroe. I ended up back in Oxford. I started my journalism career at the Oxford Eagle. I had never written a newspaper story in my life.
Huge.
I got offered a newspaper job and took it.
Huge.
And so yeah, things started getting better. I didn't know it then, but things were getting better.
That's terrific. Some of the big music in 94, at least in my opinion, as a angry white person at the time, 9 Inch Nails' Downward Spiral came out early in 94. That had the song Closer, which to this day is one of my favorite tunes. It's a little bit angry and a little bit, I don't know, tawdry. But it's a good one. Gabe probably doesn't know that one.
I mean, I know of it. I don't. I was not a huge 9 Inch Nails fan.
Yeah, I figured you weren't. I'm not saying you lack sophistication. I'm just saying I just had a feeling you didn't like them.
Okay.
Soundgarden's Super Unknown record came out with a Black Hole Sun. Huge stuff at the time. Cracked Rear View by Hootie and the Blowfish, which I guarantee you McCready listened to nonstop in 94.
Hootie? I liked Hootie fine. It wasn't my thing, but it was fine.
Anyway, it's a big deal for my wife. She liked that. My favorite REM record came out in 94, Monster. Had some great What's the Frequency, Kenneth, Bang and Blame. That other song that I like and the other song that I like, they're really good. Nirvana's yeah, go ahead, Gabe.
I had a fraternity brother who looked very much like Michael Stipe, and he played the guitar and did REM things.
Did he
so that's
big
my
with
story.
the ladies?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to besmudge his name.
Okay, we won't say anything about him then.
But that would be my, not really.
Nirvana's Unplugged set from MTV was huge. Big time record there, and everybody was really fired up for that. The top selling record of 94 was actually TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool. which had Creep on it, which had Waterfalls on it. That was a big, big, big record right there. Itch.
Yeah, I don't remember that much.
Waterfalls was that was a big thing. I feel like you missed a big one here.
Are you serious, Neal?
Yeah, a little bit.
You don't know the song Creep
Really?
by TLC?
Well,
yeah, I mean, I remember it. I just don't remember it being that big of a thing for me.
I mean, Jay, you got to understand, man. 94 was a tough year.
I know.
He was
struggling. He was struggling. There's no doubt about it.
I feel like you missed one here. I just discovered that "Regulate" by Warren G came
that's
out
a good
in
one.
1994. That was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Warren G, who I learned later is a cousin of, you know,
Jay G.
Nah, the guy from NWA that had the beats, Dre, Dr. Dre.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
I did
Also, another big record for me in '94. I don't know. This is kind of a niche one, but it was big for me. Was 16 Stone by Bush. Had Glycerin and some other stuff on it that I liked. Everything Zen. That was Gavin Rossdale's band. He ended up marrying the really hot chick from No Doubt, whose name escapes me.
Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani. Yeah, he was married to her and presumably, did whatever he needed to do there. So God bless that guy. The year in movies in '94, there were some good ones in '94. The Lion King was a big one.
Oh, yes.
The real one, not this fake stuff. It was the real one. And then Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Wow,
Debuted
that's
94.
really that old, huh?
Yeah.
I saw Forrest Gump. So on the day that I saw Forrest Gump, I came back to my apartment and discovered that Ryan Sandberg had retired because I think one of his teammates was sleeping with his wife.
It happens, man.
And O.J. Simpson was becoming a suspect in a double murder in Brentwood, California.
Which we actually ended up going and trying to find the
We
perpetrator
did.
there.
We went and investigated.
Just to see. And the best we could find out is that it was a gentleman who liked to hang out on golf courses. But, I mean, you can't narrow that down. We now believe he may be in Las Vegas, but I'm not sure.
We think that the
two
suspect.
of you investigated this?
Yes. No.
Along with our friend Troy Johnson at
Boots
the
on the
time.
ground, Gabe.
I think I've heard part of this, yeah.
It was 5 years later, but we investigated 4 years later, 5 years. We investigated the double murder, and it was our conclusion that a suspect was at large who liked to play golf. And it is our belief at this point, and Jay, I don't want to interfere with our reporting.
Yes.
But it is our belief that at this point that suspect is somewhere in the greater Las Vegas area.
We believe he may be on a golf course currently. By the
You
way,
guys should do an episode of Cold Case Files, I feel like.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
By the way, you mentioned earlier about Twitter, and sometimes you read the comments and you're amazed. Every time OJ puts one out, I read all the comments, and it's just it's like candy to me. It's just so tasty.
I feel like his account is maybe the entire reason Twitter was invented, and the comments that follow.
It's just the lack of self-awareness and the way
But
the
that
comments.
has to be on purpose.
It has to be on purpose, right? It has to be.
I guess. I think it's.
Like,
I think
no
it's
matter
funny
no matter what he's talking about, what he says, like one of the first four comments is always going to be, "You're killing me, Jews." You know,
Yeah.
always, every time.
Well, every time, if you give it like a couple hours for everybody to jump in, it's the same progression, right? It's
amazing.
it's the gif of him swinging and go, "That's what I'm talking about," and then it says, "Hey, Twitter world, it's me, George Truly." And then there's like a SpongeBob where he's like worshiping the "Hey, Twitter world, it's me, yours truly." It's the same three all the time. And then it turns into a "What did Nicole think about this?" And it's so predictable, and I love it. It tastes so good.
And like, I've liked him before. I've even retweeted a couple, and then people get mad at me for like, I'm like, no, that's why we're here, man.
We're not part of the
that's
toxicity.
Why I'm on Twitter.
He's the toxicity. We just think it's funny. Like, and they're like, "Well, what about Nicole?" And I'm like, "Come on."
You didn't kill his wife and her friend.
Well, he didn't either.
I did. I don't know what your investigation found, but I can say that I did not, as a 17-year-old, do that.
We did not come across any evidence that pointed towards Gabriel DeArmond.
No, we didn't. Well, we may need to go back and take a look at it.
Yeah, we can't
Fresh
rule him
eyes.
out as a suspect, but we can say that as of this point, we don't have anything that would lead to the prosecution of Gabriel DeArmond for double murder.
I can rule him out.
Some other films, as I mentioned, The Lion King was number 1. Forrest Gump was number 2. Speed was number 5. I remember that vaguely. That was a Keanu Reeves vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
As I recall.
That was the bus movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Flintstones was number 6,
terrible.
which,
Ah,
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and admit something here. Back in those
John
days.
Goodman.
I know where this is going.
Do you know this? I'm not going to do it then. If you know where it's going and you're laughing, I'm not even going to tell it. But
So which one helped you? Which one were you stimulated by?
I liked Rosie O'Donnell back then. I didn't know, man. She wasn't like this crazy person that she is now. She was just kind of like a moderately overweight, shit-talking woman, and I liked her. She was in League of Their Own.
Was she Betty or Wilma?
She was Rosie. I don't know. She
She
would have
would've
been
been Daddy.
not Fred's
She
girl. It
would've
would have
been
been Barney's girl.
Barney's girl.
She was
Wilma?
Betty.
No, she was
Betty.
Betty. She was Betty.
Betty.
So I liked Rosie back then. That was way before she was crazy. Anyway, also one of my all-time favorite films came out in '94, Dumb and Dumber. Absolutely love it, man.
Did you
Yes.
ever remember the older
I-
Flintstones when they let Pebbles grow up? She was hot.
Was she hot? Seriously?
Pebbles, when she got older, like when she was dating Bam Bam,
Yeah.
she was hot.
Well, I mean, Wilma's hot, so you're not. It's not surprising to then see that she grew up to be hot too.
No, Wilma is sneaky hot. Pebbles
Sneaky.
was like straight hot.
It's not sneaky.
She's tall and
Yeah.
long. And she also has at least some overtones of ginge, which I don't think is a bad thing. So, and she's
Yeah.
obviously great around a kitchen. So
Yeah.
what's the negative? Why would that be surprising?
Pebbles was also a great surfer and a good singer. There's a lot of talent there.
I
That's
watched
good stuff, Neil.
I just
I
watched.
feel like you thought about this.
I just watched Dumb and Dumber a couple weeks ago, actually.
Isn't that hilarious, Gabriel?
Oh, this is legit, no exaggeration. I remember like falling into the aisle on the floor of the movie theater. I was laughing so hard at that movie in the theater. At the snowman
stupid.
scene where he just pegs Lauren Holly in the face with the snowball and he uses the carrot for the dick and balls. I'm laughing. I'm gonna watch it again.
Dude, yeah, that's one of the ones where I've hyperventilated in a movie theater a few times.
Oh,
Dumb and Dumber.
100%, like tears streaming down my face. Yeah.
Very, very funny. So there you go. To me, still, I would say Forrest Gump would be the number 1 film from '94, and it didn't
Yeah,
win Best
for
Picture.
sure.
It did not win Best Picture. It was beaten out
What
by,
did?
I believe, Shakespeare in Love.
Flintstones? Okay.
Forrest Gump.
What?
Nothing.
No, I'm looking at it now, and apparently it did win the Academy Award for Best Film. So I stand corrected. Pulp Fiction came out in '94 too, also known as Pulp Friction. That's a big movie for me. It didn't do great at the movie theater because at the time it was kind of an art house film, but I feel like
I
it's
think it's
aged really
overrated.
well. No, it's not overrated. It's brilliant.
I'm with you, Gabe. It's fine. It's
fine.
not the classic that people try to make it out to be.
Yeah.
Hey, also, Gabriel, think about this, dude. So, in that one year, Jim Carrey had, as we mentioned, Dumb and Dumber. The Mask came out in '94, and Ace Ventura came out in '94. He was a busy dude in '92, '93.
He was busy.
Yes, making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that allows him to do what he does now, which is basically draw mean pictures of Donald Trump and act all woke, I guess. I don't know. He's kind of
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Meh. Anyway, Pulp Fiction.
There's a lot of things happen I don't know about.
And in '94, in the last day of 1994, I still had not written my first newspaper story. I was still over. Still thought I was going to be a psychologist. That's funny, huh? Can't even imagine me in like therapy with people. I'm the one who goes
No.
to therapy. I'm not the one that sits there, yo.
Yeah. You don't need to be giving therapy. Probably not.
It depends, McCready, though. I think for some people, I think I could resonate with them, but I think it's a small group. You know? A small group of people.
Yeah, it'd be like me giving therapy. I think I could help certain people, but I think a lot of people I would hurt them.
I'm trying to think of the people that you could help, but I'm sure there are some. I mean, because you got the whole like Peloton thing, which takes it off for me. Like you were trying to get all serious about it earlier, and I stifled the laughter, obviously, that I had. that, I mean, and I don't want to make fun of the fact that you're finding homeness in Peloton from virtual high fives.
I like that.
From Slutbanger 69 or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not that different than me watching Twitch and feeling like those people are my friends, you know?
No, it's very similar.
It is similar.
It's not different at all.
It's not. It's really not that different. I mean, so I guess I got to stop laughing, or at least laugh at myself. But that Peloton thing does me. I can't take it seriously, Neal. It's awesome that you get your heart racing. And I actually wish I had one right now because it's hard to get good exercise when I'm just walking around the neighborhood, and I hate running.
Well, today on the Peloton, just so you know, I burned.
Here we go, Gabe.
No, I want you to know how many calories I burned.
Here we go, Gabe.
Let's see. I'm pulling up my profile.
I got 17 virtual high fives, guys. Oh, yeah.
No, it doesn't keep up with that. But
Such a boss.
Well, what good is it then if you don't even know how many high fives you got when you
715 plus 376. So that's like 1,100. I burned 1,100 calories.
Can you change your name on there?
I'm the hairless whisperer.
I think you should change your name to Zuck the Cuck.
Zuck the Cuck.
Nobody would ever figure it out. They'd think your last name was Zuckerberg or Zuckerman or something, which is not what your last name is. And then also, you're totally a cuck, so it's all good.
Yeah. Slutbanger 69 was taken, unfortunately.
I'm sure it was, man.
Yeah.
Because somebody I know is that guy.
That's what Jay uses to watch his buddies play shoot people games.
Hey, now. Hey, I've actually thought about doing that, like actually streaming that. Because, I mean, I play it all the time, and I'm not very good. But I think I could do funny commentary, and everybody else that does this they're in their 20s. Rarely they'll be 30. And here I am, 47 years old. I could be like the old man, and I think people would love to see the old man raging. I think it'd be funny. I'm just saying. I mean, dude, Castro, who's the FIFA streamer that I watch, he has 1.5 million followers on YouTube, McCready. So when he puts up a video, it gets like 500,000 views. He's making money. He's swimming in money.
Yeah, for sure.
Just saying.
Well, so I try to tell Chase we need to do more night shows, but he doesn't want to do them.
Chance?
Chance, I mean.
Chance, yeah. How's Chance doing, bro?
He's doing good. I keep telling him we need to do night shows, but he doesn't want to. He wants to do morning shows.
What's he doing at night that he can't do the show?
I don't know. He wants to do morning shows.
He's watching Twitch, man.
He's twitching.
Okay, he's twitching. I tell you what, I got a little something. Next time I come over to Oxford, I'm gonna play a little joke on Chance. I got a little something on my sleeve, McCready. I'm gonna finally get my due with that dude. Because I thought we had kind of a fraternity going with the cockeyed stuff, you know. I got look at my eyes, look at that. And he's got the same eye problem, and I thought we were boys.
Yeah.
Turns out we're not boys, and I'm gonna have to make him pay for that. I mean, if JG Tate wants to be boys with you, I think you should just go ahead and do that. I met his wife. I think she's cool. Look at that, McCready. Your eyes are straight, bro. You got no problem. You and Chance are speaking totally different languages. You've got straight eyes, and he's got cross eyes.
My eyes are straight. His eyes are not straight.
Maybe you can just smack him straight on his head. Anyway, hung out with his wifey, and I like her a lot. And I mean, she's no Laura McCready, but I mean, she was fine, you know. And there it is. Look at him. He's got straight eyes, guys.
I mean, that one is.
His name is Zuck the Cock. Yeah.
He's got Davis eyes.
All right, so that's pretty much what we've got today on the show.
Yeah, I think we're through.
Yeah, I think we're about to go down a Neal McCready 1993 path here.
I had a couple other things to talk about. It's that stimulus checks are slow coming out to me because the government doesn't have my.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out next week
if the money comes through.
No, what you wanted to talk about. People got to have something to look forward to.
That's true. We'll say this is episode 95, and he'll go, "Oh, God,
that's a tough one, man. Tough one.
Tough year, man. I didn't close."
That brings back some bad memories. I'm going to have to come back when we get to about episode 2014, guys.
I'd get in trouble if I said that in 95. 95 is the year that I met my wife.
Hey.
So Laura's going to come on next week and be like, "That was
Laura's going to be like, that was a brutal year."
I want to have
that.
It all went to shit after that.
Would Laura go on the show, you think?
I think Laura would come on the show. You want Laura to come on the show next week?
I mean, yeah. The cool thing about Laura is I can be very open with her about things.
Yeah, I'll have her come on and she can sit in this seat and talk to you about 1995 and whatever else it is that you would like to talk about.
One thing I want to mention is I just happened to see this on the screen in 1994. A film came out that a lot of you don't even know what the hell it is. It was called The Paper. It was directed by Ron Howard, and it was a movie about one day in the life of a daily newspaper in New York City, not the New York Times, but it was basically the Post. They called it the Sun in the film. And that is the reason, that film right there is the reason that I'm a sports writer today. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, if you think JG sucks, well, maybe that's a bad thing. But those of you who like me or whatever and think I'm mildly entertaining, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for The Paper. That movie fired me up to be a newspaper reporter, and I ended up using that, and I actually wrote my first story in 96, I think. But, it took me a couple years to bend my career a little bit. But, man, The Paper got me so fired up. Tell me, Gabriel, you saw that.
Who's in it?
Michael Keaton, Marissa Tomei, Randy Quaid.
I think I saw it.
I'm not sure. I'm actually, though, I'm a sports writer because of the Flintstones, so we both got our inspiration that year.
You did a feature on Betty and Wilma and their close friendship?
Yep, on Fred's square feet and how that helped him be a better athlete.
You got some brontosaurus steaks?
Yeah.
Well, he got Pebble's number. He didn't use it, but he got it. And that was pretty big.
Yeah.
No doubt.
She was hot. All right. On that note, we'll stop here. That's for JG Tate, for Gabe DeArmond. That does it for this edition of Greatest Pod in the South. We'll be back next week with episode number 95 of Greatest Pod in the South, where we will talk about 1995 and God knows what else here on the show. Until then, stay safe. Take care. Thank you for listening. Talk to you soon.
I'm just saying. That's what you say, Gabe, at the end, right? That's what Juice says.
That was a day.
All right, guys. I guess we're going to wrap it up. Yo.
All right, fellas. Talk to y'all soon.
All right.
We'll see.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya. All right, there they go. The guys are off and away. I'm so sad. My friends are gone. It's just me now. Let's see. Lots of stuff going on. I'm so used to, when we do the Brain Drain, I do, chats. I try to follow the chat in real time, but it's different when I've got McCready and Gabe talking. So it's kind of tough. Appreciate y'all jumping in. Georgia Rebel's been all over this. Leif's been all over it. HBZ. Avery's been here. Avery even got pooped on a little bit for just making a very I thought it was an innocuous quip about all the tornadoes coming through. She lives in Mississippi, so, I mean, it's not a big deal, but whatever. Let's see. Avery, did Shawshank Redemption come out in 94? If so, I'm sorry I missed that. I got to definitely get that one on there. Andrew B says, JG, what's your Twitch handle? It is, I mean, I don't ever create content on there. I just watch, but it's JG for free is my name on there. And I watch, I know you guys don't care, but I watch Castro and a Chew Boy. Those are two FIFA streamers. And I watch on Mixer, I watch Zwayback. So that's the stuff that I do. And Run the Foot Market and Inception FC. And they play Call of Duty sometimes too. I mean, every night, dude, they put together like a highlight package or like an actual, show, I guess you would call it. Dude, I'm like enthusiastic to see those every day. So when they sit there and go, how could you sit there and watch people play? I'm like, that's like so what I'm doing, I love that stuff. Avery says I was just kidding. Obviously. I mean, she lives in Mississippi, guys. She was worried about it too. Leif says you can't find the paper anywhere online. Is that true? I'm trying to think. We watched it on maybe a couple years ago. My wife and I did. But it was on, I think it was on like the actual like cable network. Like it's like in the, the old, like if you're watching Showtime West or whatever and it's on, you can just watch it. Yeah, whatever. Well, Canoe Man, listen, man, I think you just took it the wrong way a little bit. She lives in Mississippi and she wasn't trying to be mean about it. And we were talking about how bad 2020's been, and she was like, we just had a terrible day of tornadoes and stuff. That's all. Totally not trying to get anybody angry. Marissa Tomei, although she is pregnant in that film, is pretty damn hot too. Ended up winning an Academy Award not too long after that for My Cousin Vinny, right? Considered the biggest upset ever in the history. I guess Leif says he's got a bootleg copy. I guess you like that film too. I absolutely loved it. I wanted to be Randy Quaid. That's what I wanted to be. Or Michael Keaton. I was probably more like Randy Quaid though. Still love that movie. That's the whole reason I got into it. I was just like, oh my God. Let's see. George Rebel says, I don't think Gabe reads the chat at all. I don't think they're aware that there's a chat is the thing. I don't think so. But it's all good. You know, we do different kinds of shows. If you guys watch the Oxford podcast, Oxford Exxon podcast, it's basically them talking, you know, between each other. And I feel like they get the chat involved occasionally. I've told them they need to get it involved more. And then Gabe, I don't think Gabe does this, but we're trying to get Gabe set up. I think for the next season, he'd like to have something in place. So, you know, it's funny. My wife runs a child care center. I mean, she's out of work right now, but when there's no virus, she runs a child care center. And I always think her job is like, you know, because she's got 150 kids in her center, and then she's got 22 teachers, 21, 22. I'm like, man, there is no way I could do that job. And she's like, when I did brain drain last night, was it last night? Two nights ago. She's like, I don't know how you do that job. Like, it just kind of comes easily to me. I don't know. It did in the beginning. Anyway, I think Gabe and Neal do an awesome job. Glad to have them on the show. They're very funny people. Very, very funny. We actually got tore up one time at SEC Media Days like 4 years ago, the three of us, and just kind of went to town. And as you would expect, Neal was antisocial and weird, and then me and Gabe were doing just fine. So. Let's see. Avery says people complain when they pay attention to the chat on the OEP. Why? That's weird. I need to watch that more. Usually when I drop in, Avery, I watch it for like 5 minutes, and then I bounce, and I can't really get a feel for that. I don't know. Pocket Watch says the Oxford 2 watch the chat and respond. Okay. They don't usually when I'm watching, but I watch like 5 minutes. And that's that. Pocket Watch says, how does Mizzou even have a pay site? I think they're the ones. I mean, I think they're the king on their beat. I mean, hell, we have a Vandy site, yo. In Rivals, Chris Lee does an awesome job up there. I think he's just kind of like the site, you know. He's the one. At Auburn, we're fighting like mad to get a piece because our friends over at Auburn Undercover are good and they're diligent, and so we got to kind of fight with them all the time. And you know, over in Oxford, you've got, you know, McCready, and then like Ben and David Johnson at the other one. So, you know, it's competition all the time. I think for Gabriel, it's more like the St. Louis Post-Dispatch is kind of who, you know, Dave Matter does an awesome job, although Gabe gets along with him just fine. HBZ mentions that Clerks came out in 94. Although I have seen Clerks, and I think there's some really funny stuff in it, I personally didn't really get it. Like, it just didn't hit me the right way. I don't know. I just didn't find it really funny. There was the final gag in Clerks 2, though. Whoa, that was really funny. I was crying in the theater to see that one. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but it got crazy. All right, I'll probably have to wrap it up there, guys. Appreciate y'all watching our show tonight on a Monday night. We were going to do it yesterday, but those storms were coming through, and I was concerned that, you know, McCready was being affected in the afternoon hours, and then we were getting affected in the evening hours, and I was worried we were going to get knocked out of power, and I was going to be worried about getting hit by something, and he would too, and we just decided to put it off one extra day. And today the weather's been great, so everything's good. Leif reports that David Johnson, who works there for the Ole Miss 24/7 site, is still in bad shape. I know he got the COVID, and he's been in the hospital for a minute now. I think 2-ish weeks, maybe 10 days, something like that. And so obviously we've been praying for him and hoping for the best for him and his son and, you know, his whole family. It's tough. It's really, really tough. Anyway, guys, again, did anything good happen this year? Just got to fight for that, you know? Anyway, there's been some cool things going on. If you look, you got to look. You know, that John Krasinski stuff on YouTube where he does the, was it like the good news or some good news? Pretty brilliant idea. Although I didn't really get the, the whole Hamilton thing they did last week, I was like, whatever. I mean, I'm not into that. It's just not my thing. Leif says David Johnson's been on a vent for a long time. Yeah. I mean, it's just so weird to me, man. I'm not an immunologist, but I don't understand why this virus just absolutely just annihilates some people and other people get like a cough and a headache and they're good, you know? I don't understand that. And I still don't understand it. I just hope we make a lot of progress. It seems like we're kind of easing back a little bit as a country. That our death rate's fallen a little bit. But we just have to ride it out, guys. Keep doing the best we can to stay apart and clean and not pick this stuff up. So, yeah, we'll wrap it up there, guys. Appreciate y'all being part of the show. I will, you guys have already seen the show, but I'm going to work this up in the morning and submit it to the various podcasting platforms around 8 a.m., maybe 8:30. It'll probably be out if you guys want to listen to it again. But you guys are here to start with. You guys are the real ones. So we'll wrap it up there, guys. Appreciate you being part of the show. And we'll check you guys next weekend, all right? Until then, be good, be safe. Let's make great decisions, and just be awesome. See you guys.